need a match. That's what it is now in northern Syria. Those who created what is called the Islamic State, ISIS, and what I call the bogus Islamic State, are now in a quandary, because they created this after great planning, and they had a great design, and they're pursuing momentous aims and objectives with this ISIS. But now it faces collapse. The Russian intervention in Syria is bringing ISIS to a close. It's bringing down the curtain on ISIS. And they can't allow that to happen. They are a people who have, excuse my blunt language, they are a people who have PhDs in hypocrisy. They tell monumental lies and then put on their best suits and go to church on a Sunday morning. Or go to the masjid on Friday. Without any shame and embarrassment. They created ISIS. And now they want us to believe that they are bombing ISIS. But because ISIS is collapsing, because the insurrection, the armed insurrection that was planned, meticulously planned in Syria, is now falling apart. And the army of the Syrian people, not the one that came from outside and is paid $1,000 a day, the mercenary army. The army of the Syrian people, whether it is Christian or whether it is Muslim or whatever it is, the army of the Syrian people is now winning the war. That's why we now have arrived at a flashpoint. We begin our presentation today in explaining nuclear war by advising that we look to two cities in particular, Aleppo in northern Syria and Mosul in northern Iraq. They cannot allow either of these two cities to fall. No. So that we are now faced with the possibility that NATO's very important member, called Turkey, led by President Erdogan, is likely to launch an attack on Syria in order to stave off defeat. And that Saudi Arabia is likely to be part and parcel of that attack. If that attack takes place, will it take place with the consent and blessings of NATO? Or will Turkey and Saudi Arabia be moving out on their own, hoping that NATO will intervene? That's the question I cannot answer. I don't think anyone can answer that question. And so there are two possibilities. This is the micro-analysis before we proceed with the macro-analysis. There are two possibilities: that we can be facing a war which is going to be limited in scope, in which NATO may decide not to intervene, and Turkey and Saudi Arabia will have to fight it out on their own, and they're going to lose that war. Russia will defeat them. If such a scenario, and now I have to choose my words with particular care, if such a scenario were to emerge,